welcome to the Underground Society podcast, man. It's a pleasure having you here. I've been a fan of your music for a long time, so it's awesome being able to talk to you.
Thanks, homie. So good to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Hell yeah. So can you give us a little backstory? I feel like a lot of people know your music, but not too much about who you are as a person. So can you just give us a little like background of like who you are, who Jake is?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I'm just a normal man. I'm from a place called Maitland in Australia. It's New South Wales, Australia, and I've pretty much been making music forever. I was DJing and doing my thing, and then I started I went through plenty of aliases and that, and different styles and that, and then I just sort of made Just A Gent, but I just sort of channeled my sci-fi influence, my dubstep influence, my trance influence all into this one sort of like place, which was the Just A Gent project. And I've been trying things for so long, and then you try this one thing, and then all of a sudden it's just like woohoo! It just
Yeah, it
like
finally
the
works.
universe is telling me like, yeah, you finally figured it out, man.
Awesome. I was doing some research on you, and you started at a really, really young age. Your dad was in music, right?
Yeah, so my dad's a singer-songwriter, played in a band.
Okay.
Like he doesn't do it as a career, he just does it as a side hustle, And yeah, so I got into music production when I was like around 9 or 10. And like loop production, just dragging loops in and like
Right.
Making sort of beats out of loops and that. So yeah, I've been doing it for like almost 15, 16 years now.
Wow, that's yeah, it's been a long time. So you're what, mid 20s now?
Mid-20s now, 25
Okay.
now, yeah.
You brought up that you started with some different aliases and stuff like that. What kind of like inspired you to create the Just A Gent project? When did that idea of the project, a new project, kind of come about?
I can't actually even really tell you why I did it. Hey, I think I just I was ready for a change, and me and my friends used to call ourselves the Gents, like, and dress up and stuff. So I definitely channeled that. But I also just like the idea of like just a gent, like just a man, like that's all it is. But it just hits. It hits so hard. And then but like the sound and that, it was all just kind of like, yeah, just all kind of happens. But then like the actual name and the timing of it and everything, I don't know. It was just kind of literally, man. It was just a one thought popped into my head, and I'm just like, okay, let's just do it. And it
I
just
think it's
worked.
awesome. It's a great way. I kind of wanted to ask you about your branding, but I think it's an awesome kind of idea when you're like, oh, every project, especially professional projects, needs like a solid like cohesive brand. And I think Just A Gent is like so unique, and like you've done a very good job with that. But you also said that you drew some inspiration from your sci-fi interest, and I think that plays a lot into like a lot of your artwork and stuff. And I want to ask you about
Absolutely.
like, how do you get that done? Do you do that yourself?
Yeah, so I work with a guy named John Hrubech, and
Okay.
he's just he's kind of like me, but a visual artist. We have a very similar sort of wavelength and taste. And so I hit him up years ago when I first started the project. I was like, dude, this is the style that I really want my sound to be with, because like obviously when I make the sound, I have like the vision as well, in my head. So pretty much what I do to it is I just like bring him a brief, or I bring him like a Microsoft Paint sketch, or me just like drawing in a journal, like, or just like rough ideas even, like specific ideas, and we sort of just go back and forth and do it that way, because I'm okay at doing the visuals myself, but he's just that extra level, so.
Yeah, your artwork is freaking nuts, man. Especially like the
Thanks,
Element
dude.
13
Yeah, the autopilot
project.
EP,
Holy
yeah,
shit,
that
dude! I
one.
love that art.
Yeah, that one hits hard. I actually, so that one was all about like VR and like the
Yeah.
state of humanity. Like, everyone's living in autopilot, and it's only gonna get worse and shit. Like, I also got a tattoo, man. Like VR skull.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. I went deep when that autopilot EP came out. So, yeah.
That's sick. How? Because you didn't end up going to college. You went.
No.
You dropped out of high school even and started pursuing music full time. With
did.
your dad being in the music industry, was that kind of helpful, or like what were your parents' kind of thoughts about you dropping out of high school and going music?
Well, funnily enough, I think because Dad was in the industry, he was kind of like, nah, mate, like, there's no money in music. There's no money in music. You can't leave school and do music, because he's for so long, done the gigs and that, and like he makes money on the side and that, like, decent money from music, but he's like, you can't have a career in music because whatever. So he was kind of like a bit like, oh, I shouldn't do it. But then Mum was like, nah, this is it. Because at the time I was in year 11, which is like the second last year of high school before college and that. And I had the opportunity to come and tour the States, right? So it was like I could tour the States for 4 months or start my HSC, which is like the final exams of school. And I was like, like I don't really care about school anymore.
Yeah.
And like, dude, even the teachers, some of the teachers that knew my music, because like they knew I was good, they knew it was really nice. They were like, nah, you shouldn't be at school. Like some of the teachers were egging me to leave as well. Man.
Damn.
So, I had support from everyone to sort of do it, and like I'm no regrets, man. Best
That was
decision I've made, for sure. Yeah.
That was a big like confidence boost, I'm sure. Like having your mom on your side and like basically telling you to do it, and I mean, even like you said, another layer on top of that, like the teachers telling you to do that.
Exactly, and without that, I probably wouldn't have, right? Yeah.
I hear stories all the time where it's like the teachers like tell people like, oh, you won't amount to anything, like this is just a dumb idea, like you're just a stupid kid, blah blah blah. Like you hear that more often than like the teachers like actually push it. Do you think that's like that's a cultural thing at all? Because I feel like in the States that like never happens.
I think it is, but I also think it's just people dependent. Like I had a music teacher who didn't support it, but then it's like the art teachers supported it and stuff like that. So it's just like I think it depends on the teacher, what they teach, because like obviously an art teacher gets it, you know, whereas like a history teacher might be like, yeah, stay in school. I don't know. Yeah. And also, culturally, like Australia is very good at we're all like in it together, you know. I feel like that's one thing that is good here is like not everyone, fucking of course not everyone, but a lot of people are here to just like help each other grow, you know, and that's good.
So take me to the point of like what would you say your first big break was? Like what was your first big opportunity that really like helped you climb that trajectory that you had?
Yeah, like where did it all sort of start?
Yeah.
I think it was like dubstep.net, like the EDM.com, EDM network. They posted like one of my tracks that I put up. They like reposted it. And like at the time they were quite a big platform. This was like, I don't know if you even followed this kind of scene back then. In the, the early standard. Yeah, so like you would have remembered dubstep.net, man. You would have got your downloads from there and stuff. Like, so when they put it up, obviously a bunch of people heard Just A Gent. They liked the name, they liked the brand, and one guy who ended up managing me for a bit, his name was Ethan. He used to manage Sound Remedy. Do you remember Sound Remedy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he came to me and he was like, yeah, man, I manage Sound Remedy, who at the time was like one of my biggest, you know, influences for sure. I was listening to Sound Remedy every day. So I was like, dude, what the heck? Like, hit me up. And then he sort of like, you know, he really guided me and really helped me for a long time and like opened up a lot of doors for me. And, you know, obviously the music was ready to go. So he's just kind of showed me how to actually like spread the music. And we worked together for years. And then he ended up starting a record label called Arista, which is like a subsidiary of Sony. So he's killing it now, but we no longer work together. But yeah, he pretty much just showed me how to do it. And then like once I brought him on board, like this song is sick, help me, all these other publications and stuff. And like back then blogs were important. Like people actually cared. Dude, about
yeah.
You know.
Well, how YouTube and, you know, podcasts are now today, we're serving the same purpose as like a blog did back, you know, 10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We've sort of switched to more of a entertaining format rather than just reading it, which is cool for sure. But like back then, like that was the way in. And back then everyone was going to do it for like free and stuff, and then everyone started like charging for their blog posts and all that crap. So that's when it all sort of fell apart for me in that side of things. But yeah, that was pretty much it, man. That's pretty much how it started. And like obviously it was just a domino effect after that, you know, just everything started happening.
How long until, because the first thing that I ever saw of yours was when Nightmare did the remix of Limelight. How long into your project did that happen?
That would have been probably about a year or two into the project. So like we found Tyler's music.
Because he was still Nightmare wasn't Nightmare who we know today. He was like probably fresh out of school. Like he was just starting his.
He was young, yeah. He was fresh out of school. He was young. He like hit us up. He was like, you know, we like the sound. Like this is what we're doing as well. Like, and then I'm like, dude, let's do a remix. Will you do a remix for me? Like we'll do a collab and stuff. We worked on a bunch of things, man. We have some. They're old now. Like this is like so long ago. You know, 2014. I still keep in touch with Tyler. I still see him every now and then when we're in the same town and that. But
that's awesome.
He was really just getting started, just finding his sound, and so like neither of us expected. Like fuck, man, no one expected that song to like go what it did. You know, do what it did, which
freaking blew up.
Yeah, like no one would have ever. You know, we were like, this is so sick, but we didn't expect that. So
yeah. Was there any pressure to kind of like follow like a tune like that up, or like what was your kind of headspace like after that happened?
I've never really felt like that, man. Like I've kind of always been under the belief that like if it's gonna work, it's gonna work. You know, like people and if I put too much pressure on myself, I'd never want to put music out because it'd always be that like, oh, it's not gonna be as good as the last one. But yeah, I don't really care. Hey, like, not everything's gonna work, and everyone has different tastes, and like that track, like I said, I always loved it, but I never expected it to be the one that people liked. I thought it was like too far left, you know, almost. Yeah. It was so different. So yeah, man, it's hard. And then like on that Autopilot EP we were talking about, right? one with the VR goggles and stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
Sub-Zero, the song on that, Sub-Zero, like has done
one of my
crazy
favorite songs
things,
on
man.
that.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. But like, I never like I love it, but I never expected it to be like doing crazy things. Like it just it's weird, right? Like you just can't pick them. You can't pick them.
Was there ever like a lull or kind of like a dip in between that time, or has it always been kind of a steady climb for you?
I think there was a dip. There was definitely a creative
Okay.
dip, and I think that might have been just because I was surrounding myself with the wrong people and like and forgetting why I was doing it in the first place. Because yeah, when a bit of success does start to happen, I think it gets a bit confusing whether you're an artist or you're a business and like what you're actually here for in the first place. And like everyone was just trying to make a bit of money and everyone was trying to, you know, keep it getting bigger and bigger. But then it's like, I just want to make art. I just want to make beats. Like I don't really care too much. Like we were talking to all these major labels and like they all were offering these crazy deals and like, and it was just kind of that was what slowed me down because I was like getting all this weird pressure and creative sort of blockage, I guess. So yeah, there was a lull for sure, but that was more, not a. I was still creating the music, but we just weren't putting music out because we were just trying to figure out what Just a Gent was going to be and how to make it the best it could be. But
how did you choose ultimately between? Because I know like obviously at the end of the day it's art regardless, but like there's kind of almost two paths. One is like, okay, we're gonna make this like a huge like almost like corporate style business for this artist project versus like I just really want to create whatever the fuck I want to create. Like how did you choose between that?
followed my heart, bro. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I just followed what I knew was right, you know, and like I don't care about. I want my music to be heard. Like I know that that's important to me, and I want that to be like, I want it to spread, of course. Like I want people to hear my sounds, but I also like don't give a shit if I have to work part time to make it happen as well. You know? 'Cause I would rather do that instead of put all the pressure on myself to be having to make money from music.
Yeah, that makes sense. You changed genres along the way, right? From what you originally were making. What were
For
you?
sure. For sure.
What did you start out making, and how did that progress into what we know of Just a Gent today?
Well, when I first started making music, it was mostly hip hop.
Okay.
And then
I feel like that's how a lot of people start, and like especially bass music.
For sure, for sure. And then I found like EDM. You know, I found progressive house. I found Deadmau5. I found, you know, Axwell. I found like all these people, and I just got obsessed, man. Like, you know, I was listening to Daft Punk and that growing up. So like when I heard this other stuff, like the new age electronic, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is like alien music, man. It's alien music. It's too perfect. And anyway, so like I just like strove to make that progressive house sort of sound, like that electro even. Like, you know, I'm not really sure what you call it. It's like hard hitting 128 stuff. And I made that for years and years and years under my own name, Jacob Grant. And then for Just a Gent was like the dubstep spin-off of whatever that, like not dubstep, you know, but like,
yeah, just bass music.
That meets dubstep. Like, Axwell and Avicii meets dubstep. Like, that's what I was trying to like go for because that was like what I wanted to make. And
now you have this like cool kind of like almost like trappy type. It's not even really like true dubstep. It's almost
it went trappy because I started using like smaller, tighter snares and like the ting instead of like a. And then but like at this point, man, I don't really make. I feel like I don't even make genres anymore. I don't like stick to
you just make whatever you want.
I just make whatever. Yeah, I just like sort of let it write itself now, which is, and then sometimes at the end, like I'll let the song write itself, and I'll just create it and just let it flow, and then at the end, I'll sort of give it more of a cohesive genre, not a genre, but a cohesive sound, and like make it more of a trap snare or something, and instead of just like some random plonk or something, you know, to make people be able to relate to it is what I mean.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just a complete crazy mess of melodies.
Starting and living and growing up in Australia, how did you go about? Because I haven't talked to too many artists that like have like built a fan base in like other countries necessarily. Once you get to a certain level, obviously, it just kind of naturally happens. But like, how did you take your music from just like being an Australian to like now you have a fan base, like a pretty solid fan base in the United States? What was that process like?
Well, it was pretty seamless because the internet exists, you know, like that's the crazy part. Like I didn't really like try, it just kind of happened. And like, even in Australia, like the fan base, it's kind of switched because a lot of people grew up and like they grew out of that taste of music here. Like it's crazy how quick Aussies change their taste in music. Whereas I feel like a lot of Americans, if they're into EDM, they're into EDM for a long time.
Yeah.
And so like they are just more passionate, man. I think you're like in America, and like and SoundCloud was so big there, and I can't really explain how it happened, but it did happen. And like it sucks because I'm struggling to sort of connect with those people in America right now because I don't have a visa. I got to get a visa and I got to get over there and play some shows and that, because otherwise I'm gonna like lose them before they've
Yeah.
left the EDM scene too. So I'm really trying to like get over there next year, or even like the end of this year if I can.
If you ever come to California, I would love to see you actually perform live.
Dude, yeah,
'Cause I've
that'd be
never actually
sick.
seen a set of yours.
Mm.
What would you say some of the major differences are, at least like music wise, from Australia and the United States?
I think in Australia too, I think we just like, they do say there's something in the water here. They do say that. But I think we're just like always striving to be a bit more like, we're very creative in Australia. I feel like we're always just doing our own thing. Whereas I think in America, not all the time, there's still so many crazy artists, but I think a lot of the time the people who start to make it are the ones who are just like playing the game.
Yeah.
And I don't think many Australians play the game. I think whereas Americans love to play the game. You know what I mean by that? Like I don't really know how else to explain other than that. Like they're just like obeying a formula. They're like putting out things that they think people are going to like to be successful. They're not just doing their thing. They're not just playing their game. They're not just in their lane.
I do notice that. Like, there's only a handful of artists that I can think of that really like that are have similar projects to yours, where like they'll make the drum and bass track, they'll make a trance track,
Yeah,
they'll make
yeah,
a dubstep
yeah.
track, and
And it's
like,
not even the genre stuff. It's, you could just hear it in the sound,
yeah,
man. You can hear it in the sound.
You can tell, like, especially some of like, because I work a lot more in like the bass music industry, I would say, but you kind of start to see how like they're a lot of people, like, especially like the excisions and stuff, like they'll say like, oh, there's no real like blueprint, like you just kind of have to like make it happen, and like you just put yourself out there. But it's almost like, because so many people have done it now, I feel like there's almost like a blueprint starting to kind of like take shape, and there's like almost a way that you kind of can go about it, to make it almost a faster process than just like
Exactly.
taking longer. And a lot of people, I feel like, with, I mean, even like social media and stuff, people want everything like right now. Like,
Exactly,
and
man.
then they don't have the mindset to like play the long game. So
Yeah.
I think you've done a wonderful job at playing the long game.
Thanks, man. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to play the long game. I'm just doing
Yeah,
my
yeah.
thing, But yeah,
Yeah.
I guess I am.
Having that and having the ability to like think long term was gonna make your project last. Like I feel like a lot more people who just want results right now, like in like 10 years from now, like no one's even gonna know who they are. Like they're just like hot
I
for
agree,
like
man.
this
Yeah, I
second.
agree.
Yeah.
If that's what your game plan is, you're not gonna know who you are in
Yeah.
10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think has been one of your greatest challenges being like an artist that is from a different country? I guess with the way that I'm looking at this is like in Canada versus the United States, right? That's our closest country for me. I feel like the Drakes of the world, or like the people like that, and like other genres, obviously, they almost like they feel the pressure to like make their career happen first in the United States, where like you kind of almost took like a different angle on that, where you're just like, I'm just putting out music and I'm from Australia and this is what it's going to be. What has been like one of the main challenges for you being an artist that isn't from like the United States?
I think it is kind of that is like, I like my life. I like being chill and making music and stuff. I'm not like, I enjoy touring and stuff, but it's actually quite hard for me to go to the States and tour for 3-4 months, because it just takes it out of me, and like that is
Yeah.
a huge thing. And like, I don't really want to move to the States because I like Australia. I feel like
Yeah.
I'm home here, like I'll live in the States for 6 months or whatever and make it happen, and then I'll be like completely burnt out, because there's so many places to play. There's so
Yes.
much to do. Like, it doesn't stop, and it's crazy and it's good, but it has a toll, and like it has a toll on my creativity as well, I think, because it just drains all your energy out. And like, I want to do it though. That's the thing. Like, whereas Australia, you've got like 6 cities you can play in, and you can only play in once a year. So it's like, you just do the
Yeah.
cities, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna chill out for the rest of the year, live off that money.
That is
But
pretty crazy, because Australia is a much smaller country than the United States, huh?
yeah, so like on
Yeah.
on the scale, it's the same. But then when you think about the people, it's like 10%.
Yeah.
10% of the people in the same landmass. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you ever have any pressure to like feel like you needed to go to other countries to be able to
Oh, for
perform
sure.
more? And
For
okay,
sure.
yeah.
Sure. And I'm feeling it now, but like, it's a good thing. And I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready to do it.
Yeah.
I'm ready to give it a red hot crack. But it's hard. But it's gonna be a freaking roller coaster, man. So,
And dealing with all the freaking visa shit, like I know, like
dude, that is the worst, man. That is the worst
yeah,
for sure.
especially coming out of COVID, man. You guys are like, I know it's a couple other like I don't know if Sippy, I'm sure she's
course,
from
man,
Australia. But just I've been watching her career for a long time too, and I've seen like what she had to go through during COVID. And she got stuck in Australia, and like Like,
Yeah.
how did you have to deal with any of that during COVID?
Well, my visa expired during COVID, so that's why
Okay.
that was a bit sad. So I was actually meant to be over in the States making it all happen in 2020, and then didn't, and
Mm,
then ran out last year. But then, yeah, I was pretty chill because I wasn't trying to come back, you know. But that's why I sort of was like, I'll just let it chill out. And I think like now is kind of the time where I should start like looking at the visa again.
yeah.
Because I was actually just over in California a couple weeks ago. Had a
Oh,
blast
okay.
actually. Yeah, I was up in Canada for Shambhala,
Okay. Yep.
which
Did you
was
play Shambhala?
yeah. Honestly, that was probably like the greatest experience ever. It was so
I've
good.
heard wonderful things about
Oh
Shambhala.
man, yeah, you've
I've
got to
heard
go,
wonderful
dude.
things.
Holy,
Yeah.
especially if you love bass music, man. It's probably all
Yeah.
time for sure. All time for
Either
sure.
that or I'm going to Lost Lands in a couple weeks too. I'm excited for that.
Also,
Do
will
my
be
first
fantastic.
Lost Lands.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
they asked me to play, but yeah, no visa, man. So I couldn't come over.
How does that work? How does that like? How do you get a visa? Like, how does that process work? Do you have like a specific? Yeah, obviously you have a specific amount of time, but then is there like a specific amount of time that you have to wait to get another one?
No, but you have to. So essentially, you have to give them like a 4-year plan of everything you're gonna do when you get your visa,
Mm.
and you have to have signatures. Like we've got signatures from like Skrillex and Diplo, like saying
Holy shit.
that Just A Gent is a legit artist. You know, he actually is doing things. And you have like all these newspaper articles from my hometown and like the blog posts and stuff, and you have to like present it all, and then they say like, yeah, okay, you can come in, or
Yeah.
nah, sorry, man, like not this time, eh? So, and then once you get it, yeah, it's like a ridiculous amount of money, man. It's like I think it's like $5,000, $6,000. But then if you
Holy
don't
shit.
want it to take like 3-4 months, it costs another $5,000 on top to get it expedited. So it's about like
10
11K.
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
11K, 10K to like get your visa done in a month or so,
Wow.
and then it
How
lasts
did
for
you-
3 years.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
How did you get like? 'Cause you said you got Skrillex and like Diplo
Yeah,
signature
just
to like approve.
yeah,
How
just
did that happen?
my managers. Well, like my managers used to be really tight with Asla, so they just like hit him up and was like, yeah,
Ah.
can you just give us some crazy signature? Because I think they do it for a lot of people, man. I think because everyone needs like
Yeah.
you need
Yeah.
that reputable source to show show the government that like yeah, this is
Mhm.
legit.
What labels have you released on Alza or what who have you released
Well,
it to?
we almost released my stories to Tele-P with Asla, but we didn't end up
Okay.
doing it. But I've dropped with Monster Cat, Bitbird. I did have a bit of a small dabble in major labels. I worked with UMG, like Universal Island Records.
Oh wow, yeah.
And then a few other like small ones on the side and that. But I've been doing mostly independent recently, and I think
That's what I thought. Yeah.
that's where I want to stay. Like I like doing the one-offs with the labels, but it's tough signing like half your track to a label when you can pretty much achieve the same thing yourself. It's just
Yeah.
like you're more just doing it to be part of the team and like part of the community, which is great. But like I obviously want the bulk of my music to be owned by me, so I can like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, of course I want to own my own music. You know, everyone should.
And yeah,
wanna
I
own
feel
their
like
own music.
you definitely get a lot more like I don't know, certain labels and stuff kind of try and take creative control over you.
Yeah, a
And I
little
feel
bit.
like
A little bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like with being releasing more of your stuff on your own and not being so tied to like labels are great. Obviously, it gives smaller artists a chance to put out something and kind of build a name for themselves. But like in your case, you've already made a name for yourself. That's like it's almost easier, and you get more. I just think the creative
You get more
control
creative
you
freedom.
get.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, yeah,
You do.
yeah. Have you struggled with that at all? With like people like kind of trying to tell you like
I
what
absolutely
direction you should
did.
take
I
your music?
absolutely did. And I had to just cut them out. You know, I had to cut them out of my life and of my career.
Yeah.
And it was tough because, you know, I didn't really realize like that's what was happening. But like,
Mhm.
the priorities just get a bit skewed. You know, like in my case, it was like, oh, we should be making these songs to be radio friendly and stuff. And it's like,
Right.
that's not even what I want, but like it was just what we thought was the right move for the career and stuff like that. And then so that I was sending all these crazy ideas, and like my team was just like, nah, this probably isn't it. This probably isn't it. And like, even though I am the team, I was still like listening to these guys because they were my friends, you know. So I was like, oh shit, maybe they're right. Like maybe this isn't the right where I should be we're going. And like I ended up getting myself into a creative rut for sure.
Mm. How did you pull yourself out of that?
I fucked him off.
You just
No, I decided that I don't care about that anymore. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna make music for me. I'm just gonna do my thing. I got rid of them. I decided to make Planet Oasis, and I did it, and I put it out, and it's doing
Which is
pretty
definitely
good.
like it was almost like it was kind of like a left turn for you, kind of creative.
For sure, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. But a lot of those songs were like songs that I've been sitting on for years and years, and like
Mm.
the team never wanted me to put them out. So I was like, I need to do this for me. I need to put these songs out to the world, show
Yeah.
them, and now I can like move on. And the shit I'm making now is crazy, dude. It's like, yeah. I'm excited.
Awesome.
I'm really excited.
I'm excited to hear it. Without naming any names, can you tell me kind of maybe a story of like a time where like you felt like you were kind of stuck in a box by some of these people?
There's been so many times. And like, it's not even these people, man. It's myself, you know, it's yourself.
Okay,
it's your own.
Just
it's just, you allow them to affect you. And like, and I think the key is, and like for any artist, and like what I've kind of learned from it all is like, because I don't really have like a specific story, because obviously it's just like a gradual thing over time. Like it just kind of like eats away at your creativity.
Slowly, yeah.
And I think like you just got to remember why you make music in the first place. And that's what I sort of did. Like it took a good friend to tell me like, mate, like, what are you doing? Like, you're just here to have fun. Like, we're just here to make songs. You're not here to
you're making music. Yeah.
Yeah, like, there's no rules. There's no, like, you know, like, you can't force that shit.
Yeah.
Man. You really can't. And it's like, as soon as that kind of, like, clicked back in my brain, I was like, whoa, what the heck? Like, where have I been for 12 months or whatever? You can take feedback from people around you and, like, let them help guide you. But, like, just remember that you're the boss. It's your music. It's your sound. And it's your outlet. And, like, that's all it is. It's your outlet. For your soul. Honestly, it is. It's your outlet to like create shit to show everyone, for you and for everyone else.
Yeah, I think it's hard for a lot of producers, maybe more starting out producers, to really understand that concept of like they're like, oh, I want to work with this management team, or like I wish I had a manager, I wish I had this, and they like almost kind of put the cart before the horse. And it's like at the end of the day, you have to remember like you as the artist, and I'm going to school. I'm going to be going to Icon to go to their music business program. I want to become a manager myself.
Awesome.
And you know, going into that, I'm like, look, I'm here to work for you. Like whoever I'm managing, like you're the boss. You're in charge of like. Yeah. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have a fucking job. So
yeah, that's
like,
right.
It's hard for some people like to kind of grasp their head around. It's like some artists starting out, they almost look at like a manager, like a team as like, oh, they're the boss, I'm working for them. It's like, no, that's the other way around.
Exactly. Yeah, they're gonna take me to the next level, or like, they're gonna show me how it's done. But it's actually the case of like you already knew what you were doing. You just need someone there to help you do what you want to do. And that's what a mentor. You're just like, if you become a mentor, you're gonna be you're gonna be a friend. You're gonna be a psychologist. And you're just gonna like help them do what they need to do. And like that's what a manager actually is.
And get the business side done well. So
get the business done so they can focus on art. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Was it hard for you kind of when that time came to cut out your team? Was it hard for you to do that? Because obviously, like you said, your manager and your team and stuff, like they're your friends.
It was really hard, man. It was really hard because they are my friends, and like I had to explain it to them. Like, I know you don't probably. It's kind of like a breaking up with your girlfriend, I guess. It's like I know you probably don't see this coming, but like I'm creatively blocked right now. I'm not feeling myself. I feel like this isn't working. Like haven't done anything wrong. You've done everything you think is right, but it's just not right. And they understood. You know, like it's hard, but they understood because you got to both be in it. You know.
Are you with a new team now, or are you doing a lot of stuff on your own?
Right now I'm just doing everything on my own, which has been quite hectic. You know, I'm trying to balance like building shows, making beats, freaking doing DJ sets, and then doing my own accounts and everything on the side as well. But it's all right. I'm talking to a few management companies right now and stuff. So I will get a manager, and I think I'll get an American manager, and I think I'll make it happen over there for a bit.
Excellent.
You know.
You should, I'm wishing all the best for that for you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. What do you look for when you're looking for managers and stuff? Now that you've been through all that and kind of had to cut out a team, like what are some changes that you want to see like with someone new?
I want to find someone who does have a big team already, like someone who has, you know, a guy for this, a guy for that, a guy for that, a guy for that. And I want someone who is someone that is on the same wavelength as me, not on a business wavelength, like on the creative wavelength. And like, I've been talking to a few guys, and like, I've been just talking to a few of them. They're like, oh, you should mix like parts of your life that you've never thought of mixing with music before with the music, because it makes it like more easy for you to like slide into that content sort of world and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, I never even like thought of it like that. Like I have, I've always thought of like doing it, but if I can sort of make Just a Gent like more Jake as well, like more me, it's just easier to do it, you know. And I never really thought about that. And I think people that help me find that part of the career as well, because like you said, people know Just a Gent, but they don't know me yet. And that's what I need to figure out how to do.
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, Yeah, building a personal brand, like you definitely like not everyone has a knack for it, and it's hard to like kind of figure out the puzzle pieces to like,
Yeah,
okay,
bro.
what should I put on display versus like
Exactly.
what should I keep private? Like it's
Yeah.
like it's almost a tightrope that you have to kind of walk.
Yeah, it actually is for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I talk about that a lot though. Like you see, you know who actually I guess who doesn't really put their personality and like their life on display, but who has a gigantic brand is Excision.
For sure, man. Oh, yeah,
Yeah, he
absolutely.
like I don't even
Absolutely.
know like what is Jeff like as a person. Like I don't even know.
No
I just
one
know
knows.
Excision. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's
it's
okay though
interesting how
because his shows are so unreal, man. I think if anyone
yeah
had a show
production
as
and
good
all
as
that.
Excision's, they'd be doing all right.
Yeah, true.
I got to see it at
Well,
Shangri-La. It's unreal, man. It's such a good show.
yes, very
Yeah.
much so. How do you feel about like starting to put more of yourself like on display for people to get to know you? Like, is that something exciting for you, or are you kind of nervous about it? Like, are you an introvert or more of an extrovert, like personality wise?
Uh, I'm, yeah, I'm a bit in between. I feel like I'm a bit bipolar with
Okay.
that, to be honest. I feel like I have my extrovert moments and then I have my introvert moments, which is why I'm also both nervous and excited to put
Yeah.
myself out there more. But yeah, I don't know. I think like it's a way forward, and I think like I don't do enough to be like Excision, like, and people know me just from my music. I don't do enough touring. I don't do enough like big dog shows. I don't have
Right.
giant dinosaur robots on my screens. Like, well, I just
Right.
need like I need to do that so people can find me, like me, like, which I've never even thought of it like that. I've always just been music,
Yeah.
and everyone's telling me like, nah, you're also the brand, and I'm like, oh, fuck, oh
Yeah,
shit,
damn it.
god damn it, dude. So yeah, like I don't know. I think I've just got to figure out how I'm gonna do it first, man, and then I'll be
Yeah.
okay. But like I'm still like I don't even know yet what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. It's crazy to see like other people like I don't know if you know who like Jester is. He plays a lot of shows for
No, I don't think so.
Insomniac. He's like one of Insomniac's guys.
Sick.
But like him or some other artists that like are like comedians too, or like do you know like Taboo?
Yeah, I know
He was
Taboo.
part of Wakan. Yeah, yeah. So he kind of like him, where like he does stand up comedy. He does like a podcast. Like he like does other stuff that he just finds fun. That's like just
Yeah,
him,
that's
and then he
sick.
somehow ties it all back to his music. Like
Perfect.
people who are comedians or stuff like that who are also musicians, I feel like just have it so much easier.
Yeah, it just comes so naturally. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What parts of you would you want to put on display? I guess for people to get to know more about you.
I think I want to like, yeah. Well, man, that's the thing, right? I think I'm gonna sort of just like go all out, just like show them who I am, and then
Yeah.
I sort of figure out like what it is that I want to focus on, like because I don't have specific things. Like I love riding motorbikes. I love
Mm-hmm.
renewable energy.
Renewable energy.
It's
Hey,
not
it
a
could
big
be like
sales pitch, but yeah, I love, I love food. I love weed. I love.
I'm on that train for sure.
Yeah, I love video games, VR. And I
Okay.
think with the VR thing too, like I've been doing a lot of shows in virtual reality, and like I think
Interesting.
it'd be cool to like have like a virtual avatar and like bring that in a bit more to Jag as well. But like that's
Dude,
not
with the
really me.
future of-
Yeah, but that's the future.
Yeah.
That's the future
With
of
the
society. I
everything.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the metaverse and stuff taking off, I mean that's forward thinking right there. So
Yeah, and like I've already got a whole like community there, so it's already
yeah.
ready for me. But then
How-
like, yeah,
how-
I don't know.
How are those virtual shows? How have those been going? I've actually never actually done one. I've never been.
You never been to one?
one?
No, they're
No.
man, they're unreal. They're so cool, man. It's just
You're gonna
it's,
have to let me know. You're
yeah,
gonna have to
I'll
let
let
me
you
know
know.
next time. I'll definitely attend.
They're hard because you're DJing live and you've got this headset on your face like this. So like you're trying to like see the decks and you have to like lift your head up and like try and DJ like under the mask, and then you can sort of see everyone dancing in their avatars like while you're DJing. But like there's like a fake decks in front of you in the virtual world, but then your real decks are
Weird.
actually there as well.
So you actually still have you still have to mix like normally
Live.
on your
yeah,
decks at
yeah,
home.
yeah. It's all hooked up to. It's all
That's
done
interesting.
via OBS into the
Okay.
world.
Yep.
Yeah, and then like obviously
That's
the virtual
cool.
world's been created by some friends of mine, or like whoever makes that virtual world that you go to, and then
Yeah.
like it's like a virtual club, and you sort of rock up, and there's like a merch stand, and you go downstairs into the club, and the music's like filtered, so when you're like outside, it's like just the bass.
Quiet, yeah,
And then
yeah,
you go in
yeah.
there, and it's like full on in there, and like there's a bathroom, and you can like do drugs in the bathroom and like makes your visuals all like crazy and shit. And yeah,
VR cocaine.
It's yeah, VR cocaine. It's it's cool, dude. I quite like it, and it's obviously just the first sort of iteration of it as well. So it's just like where it can go from here is really sick. But I also am very certain that like it'll never replace the real. It'll never replace the real shows.
Oh, definitely not.
Because you never get the feeling in your chest. You never feel people around you like in the room with you, and that's never.
I like the community aspect too, like actually being able to go outside and like smoke a joint or something with someone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Like you don't get that necessarily.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like
you can still have fun, and it's still a very real social experience. Don't get me wrong. It feels incredibly real. Like this right now is what we're doing right now is nothing on what even just like being in VR chat.
Oh yeah,
is because you have your hand, like we're right there in person.
You have more senses going off
for
with
sure
VR than you
for
do,
sure.
which is,
But yeah, it's never going to replace the real thing. And the real sound of a big system in a club, like you can't. Your headphones are never going to be able to do that, bro. Never,
absolutely. So going back to you kind of trying to put together a new team, do you think? And I kind of want to go back to we were talking about your artwork and a lot of your albums and stuff. Do you think you're gonna continue on with the same art guy and stuff and try and build him into your team?
No. Well, I think John and I will still definitely work together on certain projects and stuff. But I think like my sound's kind of taken a turn, so I think my art needs to take a turn as well a little bit. Like I've got a different sort of vision, and I think John could definitely still deliver it. But I also have been doing that for like 10 years soon. Like it's been fun, but it's like probably time for something a bit different. Next chapter, and like. Yeah. And it's been so good doing that because it's been so consistent and stuff. And I think it'll always be the same energy coming into the artworks. It's just going to be a different sort of take on it, I think, for sure. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. So what realistically, what would you like the next chapter of Just A Gent to kind of look like?
Well, I think I'm sort of taking a step more to like the minimal world. I think my tracks are getting a bit more minimal. I think, I've only had one conversation with Flume, and it was when I was young, and like he just like tried to grill it into me like less is more, and I was like nah. And like 10 years later I'm like yeah, maybe he was right, maybe I should just be like taking a way more less approach to like making music. And I think with my art as well, I want the same sort of thing, like I want it to be more impactful but more minimal, and then the songs as well, like less going on but bigger and more perfected. And I think I'm just trying to achieve that like perfection, I guess. And like that's more spacious, I guess. Spacious is probably the word I'm looking for. More spacious.
There you go. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Even though you're going from a space theme, but
it's still space. It's still going to be spacey, dude. It's always going to be spacey. I mean, I just like that's I feel like our brains are basically like mini universes, man. And I just like close my eyes, and that's kind of where I go. I kind of just like go into space, whatever it may be,
Hell yeah.
So yeah.
Do you have a new direction kind of music wise? Is that, I mean, other than making it more simple, or are you going to stay with the same like kind of trap bass music type of sound, or are you thinking about, I mean,
yeah, it's still,
you do produce other stuff, but
yeah, I think for Just A Gent, it's got to be same vein, just a bit different, a bit more like refined, going to Shambhala even just like gave me a new perspective on like live music and stuff. And
dude, it's crazy when you go to an event like I haven't been to, well, I've been to like tour stops and stuff like that, but I haven't been to a festival. I feel like I really have this effect when I go to festivals, but it almost like it puts a new form of like inspiration inside of you.
It does.
Like when you get back home after a festival, it's just like I'm ready. I have so many cool ideas. Like I want to get to work. I want to make this shit happen. Like it's like a new level of motivation.
Exactly. And like that's what feeds me as well, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I need that shit.
Is there a lot of stuff in Australia, like festivals and stuff wise?
Heaps, man. Heaps. Yeah, and we got some really good ones too. My favorite one's called Rabbit Seat Lettuce, and I've been fortunate enough to play it the last 2 years.
That's a dope name.
Dope name, yeah. Mad inspired by like Burning Man and Shambhala, but the music used to be very psytrance, but they started to go more like bass music, experiment a bit, and like now it's like becoming really, really sick, man. So
that's dope.
Yeah,
awesome. Are you working on talking about music? Are you doing a new album? Is that
so I've got like 2 albums in the works. So I'm doing like a mixtape, which is like kind of it's kind of a mixtape. It's just like mad beats, like by far the best beats I've done, but like they're not really going to be that like singly. They're not going to be that many vocals on them and stuff. It's just going to be like these the craziest beats you've heard, like from me, but like in a mixtape sort of format. And then I'm going to do an album, maybe next year or the year after, and it's like way more heavy hitting, like singly stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. How far along are you in the writing process of these?
The mixtape's pretty close. Close. I reckon I could have that done by the end of the year and then put it out early next year.
Sweet.
And then,
awesome.
And then for the album, I don't know. The thing is, man, I might change my mind at a point. And I don't want to do the album. But I've got like a collection of like 18 tracks, and I'm gonna scale it back, obviously, to probably, I don't know, however many. I'll pick the best ones, chuck some other ones in the vault.
Yeah.
Never to be heard again.
How do you have all this music written, but like, how do you choose what songs go on?
It's probably not a good way of doing it, but I pretty much just like choose the ones that if I listen to them, I listen to them all a million times. I put out the ones that I still like hearing.
Yeah.
And that's just my opinion, though. That's the downside, because I know that like everyone likes different stuff. But it's like, for me, if I put out shit that I don't want to hear anymore, it's like annoying, because then I have to like play it out to people, and
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah. You have to put out music that you are okay hearing a million and a half times. Yeah.
And that's kind of what I've done for a long time. But then like with this mixtape, I'm kind of just like doing it. I'm just doing the mixtape. I'm just like putting it out, and I think it's gonna pay off. I think it's gonna pay off a lot.
You released what was the last album you released?
It was called Planet Oasis.
Ago, right?
Yeah, it was in April.
Okay. Yeah, that was and then what was Element 13 was on?
It was on a record called Autopilot, and that was like
right.
20, the start of 2020. And then I did like an EP before that called HTTP EP. I did the Monster Cat one called Urka, and then I did Stories to Tell, which was like my first like little mini like album thing, which was 2016.
Yeah. Why do you prefer to do the album / EP kind of full projects than like just releasing singles like a lot of the people? Is that, I mean, I don't know, it could just be an American thing, but I feel like a lot of artists in America, like they like single, new single like every couple weeks. How do you decide, or how did you decide, or why do you like doing more of the full length stuff?
I think when I'm in I go through like those kind of like phases, right? Like it's like a season, and I feel like I've been in the season, I've made all these songs, like they've got a sound, they've got a cohesiveness to them. Like put them out as singles doesn't really make sense when they all sound like similar. So it's like you put them out, I still put them out as a couple of singles first, and then like, and then I'll choose the best ones, put them out as singles, and then I'll choose the other favorites, and I'll just be like, slap them on there with it. It's a project, it's done, and now like there's a body of work there. It's like it tells a story. It's not just a single like to listen to. It's not just a song. It's a book. It's not just a page. It's a book.
I think it's cool too, because like I don't know, I feel like with a lot of people releasing singles and stuff, like they might have a couple songs that like really stick with people, but it's like here today, gone tomorrow. But like with an album, it's like people actually like
come
take
back
the
to
time
it
to listen through it and come back to it. Yeah,
exactly. I think that's another reason why, because it's easier to come back to a record. But yeah, the singles are fun too, man. And like, I don't know. I guess it depends on what you're trying to do as well. Yeah, if you're trying to make it a business, it's like it makes the most sense to do singles, because Spotify loves singles, Apple Music loves singles. They eat that shit up, bro. They'll put that in the playlists, and then you drop an album, they might put one song in a playlist, and then the rest of the album just gets like no support at all.
Well, which is smart. The way that's why kind of a rollout plan is smart to do too, where like you're releasing a single here, a single there, get people like excited for what the next body of work is, and then then with that, it's like you're kind of having the best of both worlds, because obviously that's still going to come out with the album, but you're still able to be releasing singles and stuff to where people can find your music who maybe have never heard your music before.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're almost at an hour now, so we'll start wrapping up.
What the heck? It's been an hour?
Yeah, right?
What?
Yeah, almost. What else is coming up for your project? What can we? Is there anything you want to tease other than some of the new directional work that you're working on? Or
look, man, there's nothing.
Any big shows coming up?
Not really. No. I got some time before I got shows. I got some shows later in the year, but like nothing over your way. No big festivals. Yeah. But like, just keep an eye out for the mixtape. I'm gonna be dropping that soon. I might actually put up I do. I'm gonna put up my Mr. Blue Sky flip soon. I'm not sure when, but it's done, and I'm like ready to put it up on SoundCloud, and I don't know when I'm gonna do it. So, but it's so good. It's so hype, and I'm so excited to put that out.
Hell yeah.
But that's
So,
I don't yeah that's the only tease I really got right now. Everything else is so in the
are,
works. So
yeah. Are you gonna be releasing that just on SoundCloud, or are you gonna be doing Spotify and all that?
I'll drop it on SoundCloud and I'll hit up old Jeff Lynne, see if he wants to put it on Spotify, but he probably won't get back to me, so we'll give it a go though.
Yeah.
I'll try. I'd like to get on Spotify for sure. That'd be sick.
Yeah. Do you have access to like DistroKid and all that stuff? Do you
Yeah,
use that
yeah.
kind of stuff?
I've got one
Okay.
called I use one called GyroStream, which is an
Okay.
Australian based company. I do have a couple of tracks out on DistroKid.
Okay.
But it's just nice having an Australian distributor because the money comes in an AUD. I don't have to like pay some bullshit like tax. And then also like I've got someone on the ground here. If there's anything wrong, we're on the same time zone, so I can call him rather than sending him an email and then waiting 3 days for him to get back. Like with
Yeah, dude.
DistroKid, for example, like no one even gets back to you. It's all ran by bots, so it's like impossible to get anything done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have an issue, it's like
It's like
fucked.
you're fucked.
Yeah.
If there's an issue, nothing's getting fixed, man. Honestly, it's like Spotify's fault if it's wrong. Yeah.
Fun stuff.
Fun
Awesome,
stuff.
man. Before we get out of here, some wrap up questions.
Yeah, man.
What advice would you give someone starting out in music production to help them create a long and meaningful career? What would you advise someone who's just starting out?
Be yourself and don't doubt your vibe.
Excellent. I love that answer. Where can people find you and how can they support you other than obviously listening to your music?
You can just listen to my music, honestly. I've got
Yeah.
I've got the socials, but I'm not, you can follow me there if you want on Just a Gent on socials.
Yeah.
But like, I'm gonna start streaming soon, actually. So like, keep an eye out for that. I'm gonna do some like production stuff. I'm gonna show people like,
Sweet.
I'm gonna finally give people some insight of to like what I do and how I do it. But yeah, just
That's a great
listen to my
idea.
music, please.
Awesome. Any are you going to be streaming any of your gaming stuff?
Probably not. I mean, maybe I might stream
No.
some VR stuff. I'm a bit of a badass with a lightsaber in VR, so maybe I'll
Sick.
I'll stream some of that. But I might get banned off Twitch for the psychopath tendencies that I might have when I have a lightsaber in my hand.
Hell yeah. Awesome. Final question before we get out of here. I ask this question to everyone who's on the show. If there's one piece of advice that you could tell yourself when you first started making music, what would that be?
Shit. Oh man. I think I wish I could talk to myself back then now. I wish I could almost
Yeah.
get advice from that Jake back then because I was on something else, man. I think it's just being a child as well. I feel like you just have this like drive that you just don't have as an
Yeah.
adult. But I feel like where I went wrong was I started listening to other people too much. So I think I would just tell him don't listen to other people. Like trust yourself. Trust you know what's right, Jake. You know what's right.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for your time today, and
Thank
I'm
you.
so happy that we were actually able to make this happen.
Me too, man. Thanks so much.